Howdy, 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 howdy. I hope you're all having a lovely day. And welcome to Wally Bar. Well, last night I decided to glue up 4 mitre joints to make up this picture frame. And I thought I'd just have a look to see how well it's gone together. Well, it was about 7 o'clock last night I glued this up. And it's now about, it's about 10 o'clock. So, in the morning. So it's had a few hours, hasn't it, to go off. But it's overnight, so the temperatures would have been obviously a fair bit lower. At the moment, they're about 18 degrees here in France. Now, the glue I used was Cascamite powdered resin wood glue. Now, this used to be my go-to glue. Much bigger pot than I used to get. But I was asked to give it a go, give it another go, because I got a bit dismayed with it, because my last batch of Cascamite powdered resin wood glue, which I buy in 25 kilo sacks, well, it was terrible. It was really bad. To give you a little idea, this is a test pot that I've done with the powdered resin wood glue, the old batch, and it's white, which it shouldn't be, it should be cream. It's not glazed over, and it's kind of all separated. It doesn't seem to, well, it's just wrong, you know. It's not even hard, it's still soft and rubbery, which it just doesn't make any, it's just wrong. It's not how it's supposed to be. So yeah, if you look at that pot, that's terrible. Whereas the other one I mixed up, the other pot, which was one that I used on this picture frame, it's even stuck the flip and stick to the actual pot itself. Well, that other one wouldn't do it. I almost had to use a spatula to do a bit of a test with the actual old Cascamite, which is, it's just crap. It's just, it's chalky and it's just not right. It's not how it should be. Give you a little idea. This is how I remember it being. This nice creamy yellow colour, a bit of a gloss on the top, and you can spread it easily. The other stuff you can't spread. It's just terrible. So anyway, I've used the new batch, and hopefully my confidence is back again with Cascamite. So far, looking at this pot, I'm quite confident. I'm quite confident. Well, this is the first thing I've glued up with that batch. Now, the thing about mitres is they're pretty much end grain. So you glue end grain to end grain. It's not the best thing to try and glue up. If you're doing an actual splice, you try and join 2 pieces of wood together, you do a 1 in 8 probably. So in fact, you've got a long splice. So you almost got straight grain. So you get a really strong joint. But with 45 degrees, well, you might as well just do end grain. It's just, there ain't a lot of strength in a mitre. No, not glued up, just a glued up mitre. Now this picture frame I will be reinforcing as well. That's another video. So we're just going to take the clamps off and see whether or not it's held together. Now, didn't really need to use clamps like this. I could just run a bit of tape around it. That held it together because the joints were quite good. Now, I'm hoping. I am hoping. Now, the frame itself should slide off the actual picture, because the way I've done this is I've just made a ring, square ring that slides over the picture, which is mounted on a board. That's how I like to do it. Because I lacquer all my pictures. I've lacquered the actual image on this. It's got like a finish on it. And the reason why I've done that is that I don't like pictures or prints behind glass, because all you get is bugs. And anyway, this picture was given to us, so I thought I better frame it. You know, it's only been a few years. It's sitting in its tube. So anyway, so this should just slide off, which it has. Now it needs sanding up, and they're going to paint it and what have you. So I put this now to one side, so it'll get damaged. As you see, I actually put a bit of tape around as well, so it doesn't stick to the corners of the frame as the glue goes off, because then you squeeze out, which there would have been. Now, if I look on the inside here of the frame, this all looks good. No, is there any strength in it? It was only last night. It was only 7 o'clock last night. I did. It's 10 o'clock now, so it's 10 o'clock, isn't it? What's the clock gone? Oh, good, watch on. No, tell a lie, it's 11 o'clock, so it's 11 o'clock. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh. Flipping out. That's plenty good enough. And it's good enough, it's strong. Okay, I might be a convert. I'm going to be doing a load more tests actually with this glue, because before I start using it on customers' work, because I make windows and doors and stuff, you see, I want to make sure it's as it once was. Because I've used this glue for donkey's years, and it's only the last couple of batches I've had. And when it was owned by Polyvine, it's rapidly deteriorated, and now it's by UREKA. So I don't know what the deal is there regarding the actual business. Maybe I can ask them. Might be a good idea. That's how they acquired it. But I'm convinced there's no way I could have done this with the old one. Get a good old bit of welly there. There is pins in the corners, but they're only 23 gauge. It just so it stops slippage, you see. So when you clamp it up, the joints don't slide out. So I just put a couple of pins in each corner. You could have used super glue to be fair, but there wouldn't have been a fair representation of the glue, I don't think. There's no strength in the 23 gauge pins. As I say, they just stop the slippage. Cool. Excellent. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little accent in these corners. Once I've painted it, then I'll drop a piece of wood in there, clean it off, what have you, and that'll create a bit of contrast. But also, it's like having a joint, not just a 45, an actual reinforced joint in the corner of that frame. So, yeah, I think Cascamite might be back in the game. I hope so, because that was my go-to glue, you see. So anyway, have you had any experience with Cascamite powdered resin wood glue? Please leave it in the comments down below. But please boot the old like button, because it helps the channel, you know. Anyway, I need to charge my remote up because it ain't working. No, I've got to get up. Oh, God. Oh well, never mind. Ta-ta.